Welcome home, family, and join us for the fun. Colorful guests, people everywhere under the sun. Interesting conversations. Prayers first has begun. Invocation, manifestation, conversation, then will come. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Let's start drinking some water, juice or tea. King Killer recommended for you and me. Guayusa mixed together, maple syrup or honey. Magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Oh, magnets, crystals, pyramids. Learn from the healers, crystals, pyramids. Learn from the healers, the artists, the seers, authors and teachers, dissolving your fears. Workshops of wisdom, the circle is wide. Plant medicine whispers, the planets align.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Moorish Monday with Abdullah El Talib Mosi Bey, live here on Magnus Crystals Pyramids YouTube, as well as the Moroccan Post Media YouTube. I'm so excited. I love the new introduction, Hank. Awesome, man. I'm so excited. Tonight, I've
Thank you,
known
bro.
this.
Thank you. Creativity. So y'all go ahead and rock the show. I'll be back. I'll be backstage in case some knuckleheads show up and we got to put them out, put them off stage.
Oh, my man. Yes. Our guest tonight, I've known this wonderful sister for 2.5 years. Her Royal Majesty, Queen Shante Hereford of the Nation of Shiva. Today's topic is restoring the ancient matriarchal principle of governance. Before we get right to it, hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Let people know that we're on. Send a call out to your social media platforms, your family and friends, and we're going to have a good time tonight. Yes. Before we delve into the topic, introduce yourself to our audience. Let us know your background and what brought you to where you are today in developing the nation of Shiva.
Grand Rising. First of all, shalom, brother. How you doing this evening?
Oh, I'm doing well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. As you said, my name is Her Royal Majesty, Queen Shante Lene Hereford, and I am the founder and matriarchal monarch of the nation of Shira. And Shira is a Hebrew word meaning freedom and liberty. So it is an honor to be a representative of our community, excuse me, which is a global community that has a shared purpose and vision. And our vision is simple, yet revolutionary. Our vision is to live free, to live well, to live together, and to live in peace. So I am here as a vessel. I end up here in this position and this role as the matriarch monarch, not through my own will, but by a calling on my life. And this came into motion at the 124th National Black Business Conference last year, where I was coordinated by Empress Mayashola Matthews of the Aishola Empire. But prior to that, getting up to that, I'm just a small town girl from South Beloit, Illinois, born in Beloit, Wisconsin, raised by mostly my grandparents. My parents were separated and divorced. So I was between homes, between my fathers, my mothers, my grandparents, but definitely had some balance to have some background from all different ways of life, whether it was in the church or whether it was more in the streets. I definitely had a great balance in all of those in all those aspects. But I came from a background of entertainment over 25 years, now probably 30. I stopped keeping track. But I've been in music since I was a little girl. Started singing in the church, and then professionally at about age 9 or 10 with one of my cousins, Rick Flowers. And from there, that just really ignited me, ignited and inspired me to go into the music field. And so I did a number of different roles in music, from being the talent to being the executive, the road manager, the celebrity booking agent, the record company owner, just running the show, and also endeavored in other business ventures and worked various jobs, from Taco Bell to McDonald's as a youth up to telemarketing as an adult, and then started my own business at about 19 years old. Well, maybe I think 18 years old, started my own business, and I've been running my own business ever since.
That is awesome. 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 Yeah, so you also you had mentioned to me a couple of years ago, 2 years ago, that and you're developing the nation of Shirar, and how that came about based on your your experiences, some trial and tribulations you've gone through. Uh, let us lead us to this, up to that point.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You had the what's it called, the birth of a nation,
Birth of a New Nation.
birth of a new nation. Yes.
So the Birth of a New Nation was the first time we put that on was last year. And initially, the calling for the Birth of a New Nation was to unite all the various organizations, the Pan African, the Black Association of this and that, and all the different
Mhm.
organizations that are pro Black and serving our global Black community, but bringing them together, saying that we're standing in solidarity as the united front. All these various nations coming together, educated, empowered, united. And so that was going to be the birth of a new nation, one that stands in solidarity with one another, regardless of where we are in the diaspora, regardless of our political views, regardless of our religious views, understanding be one, Black first, that we all stand together. And I know, that Black isn't the per se the appropriate title to refer to ourselves, but it's what we're all familiar with, what we all kind of identify with when we're kind of grouping ourselves together. But definitely, it was a way of saying the global Black community is coming together, and this is the birth of a new nation. Out of that event actually is what birthed the nation of Shira. So the nation of Shira actually did not begin developing or taking shape until January of this year, where we set out to begin mobilizing and organizing ourselves in order to be able to declare our independence at the beginning of next year. So January 1st, 2026. And it's a very sentimental date because we know in 1804, that's when the Republic of Haiti became the first Black republic. And in 1863, or I think it was 1863, January 1st, that the first enslaved Africans in South Carolina were informed that they were set free.
Mm-hmm. All right. Awesome. Awesome. Now you had we have been connecting as myself over the years of facilitating and networking with different people, uh, to talk about that experience.
Well, I have been very active for probably the last, let's see, what year? Probably 12 to 13 years or more, working behind the scenes with various organizations. I was one of the people who initially helped to start the African Union 6th Region USA here in Atlanta, with Gayla Ferry, Queen Blessing, Atua, and several others, Olufemi, Terrence Drakes. We started we were the first bodies and individuals to come together to shape the African Union 6th Region USA. From there, that ball was dropped, and I end up working with the state of the African diaspora, helping when it first began to take shape. We helped to kind of formulate the groundwork here in the U.S. as they were taking shape there across the diaspora. Unfortunately, I started seeing things that, just didn't align with my vision. And, my hope for our community was to liberate ourselves and be free of the colonizers. And, of course, we have certain allies that we're able to work with, but we do not need them in our leadership, supervising, babysitting, sitting at the table, making decisions, wearing our regalia, just different things I was seeing that just kind of pushed me away and said that just wasn't for me. So I've worked with a number of different organizations, looking to help liberate our people, put systems in place that are sustainable. And through doing that, it really exposed the leaders. I won't say it exposed me, it exposed the leaders. And it showed me that really we have no real leaders in our community that are, I won't say that we don't have any. We're not, the real leaders aren't the ones who are at the forefront, who are familiar with everyone or getting all the attention and the fame. We have a lot of people out here who are portraying to be our leaders, portraying to do what's best for us, at the same time ripping us off and, making deals behind doors, that we're not privy to. And I just got tired of it, and so when Empress Maya Shola said, Queen Shantae, what nation are you going to come up under when we form INOSA? We decided during the birth of a new nation, we birthed INOSA. INOSA stands for Indigenous Nations of Sovereignty Alliance. And this is our own vision to create our own United Nations for melanated nations across the continent. Hey, babe. And so that is our goal with INOSA, is to bring all the various melanated nations, tribes, clans, kingdoms, empires, all together from across the globe, create INOSA and work together, just like the motto of the United Nations, but without the Western influence and power that is definitely controlling that organization. So that during that, yes. So during the, I guess you say, the foundational steps of putting that together, she said, well, what nation will you come up under? And I thought to myself, and I say, I don't have a nation. I don't even know if I have a leader in my community that I would trust to lead me. And she said, well, Queen Shantae, with everything you've accomplished, with the community that you've built, the village that you have, I think it's time that you start your own nation. And so I said, well, I'll ask the ancestors, for confirmation and the creator. And from there, it was just a series of confirmation, different signs. My ancestors speak to me in numbers. So I started seeing all my angel numbers and, just different signs that confirmed that this was the path and the journey that I was supposed to take. And so I'm here.
Awesome. We have I introduced you to Quasi Ill, King Al Bay, and Brother Israel. Brother Israel. We had all worked with you, and and as I said, I'm open to, because I've been networking and outreaching and connecting with different people over the years. So it definitely is an honor to have met you. We actually met in person, and last was it 2023.
Right, a couple
September two.
years ago. Yeah,
Yeah, September 2023. Yes, when I came out there to Atlanta. Yes,
absolutely.
yes. So definitely. So we can delve. Anything else you want to add before we delve right into the topic?
Well, I want to first of all just say, thank you to you, to the brothers also, for the efforts that you put in. Like you say, you've worked with me, and we continue to work together, support one another, and
Yeah,
so I definitely appreciate that. And I appreciate you giving us this platform, of course, to tell others about what we're doing and why we're doing it.
absolutely,
And to anyone who's watching, any supporters or any members of the nation, Shira Ve Shalom.
absolutely. Now, this topic is fitting. Restoring the ancient matriarchal principle of governance is fitting for you because of who you are, and I mentioned to you that we have to, and also I've had over 10 sisters as my guests since I've been on the host of Moorish Monday, starting December 2023. I've had like 12 to 10 sisters on, and I'm proud of that.
Ashe.
I'm proud of that. To bring to bring forth the female energy, and that's very important.
Yes,
And
it is.
knowing that's is something that I've always respected uh, from childhood. My mother, my aunt, my grandmother. Having great respect for them, and so to be and then coming to learn the ancient matriarchal principles, and that in the principle of nature, having a feminine principle, and how important that is, and how that has been suppressed, you know, and how we need to, and why we need to restore or unearth that knowledge.
Absolutely.
So this definitely is fitting. So we're going to delve right into the topic: restoring the ancient matriarchal principles of governance. Those who are just joining us, welcome. Let people know that we're on. Hit that like button, subscribe button. We're on. We are broadcast on live on 2 channels. This channel, Moroccan Post Media YouTube, and this channel, the Magnus Crystal Pyramid YouTube, this channel, as well as the Moroccan Post Media YouTube uh, page. So, we're going to delve right into the topic, the ancient. Why is this topic so important to you?
Well, especially in the position that I'm in now, it's very important that um, others understand, the matriarchal lineage, the matriarchal societies, the past historical impact that they've had, and um, the vision that we have for the future. We know that women are more balanced in community and peace, sustaining life. And if we want to maintain society, you have to sustain life. And unfortunately, what we're seeing taking place all across the world is genocide. And that's not something that um, women would really condone. It's something that we would look at before killing our sons, killing our fathers, killing our the men in our family, our children, our women. We're going to look at ways to find peace. And so I think that it's very important that we go back to history and look at the forms of governance that were successful in the past, and what was in place before patriarchal societies existed.
I think that's very important, and that's what I've been studying over the years. That's important. That great point that we look to the past and see how other systems, looking, and particularly you have the Iroquois Confederation, or the Haudenosaunee Confederation, and most people will say, and I disagree with those who make the claim that the United States Constitution was patterned after the Iroquois Constitution. And when people, I don't disagree out of emotions. I disagree based on the finding of facts, because
Well,
you have
believe
articles 45 to articles 54 are laid out the matriarchal principles, and so I don't see that in the United States Constitution. Well,
no, it's
that is, so it
Constitution.
can't. So we say, to someone says be patterned after, then then it would be women. It would be women. It will be in the Constitution, not, well, we're talking about written. We talk about first, like, first it'll be drafted in the Constitution,
Correct.
not well, seeing women. No, it has to be drafted, because it's drafted. If a Constitution's pattern, it's patterned by language.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I don't see that the language, the matriarchal language that's Articles 44 to Articles 54 in the Iroquois Constitution, I don't see that in the United States Constitution. See,
No,
in order to make it clear, you have to read both constitutions. You have to match it. You have to say, well, all right, I can see Articles so and so of the United States Constitution came directly. That's what patterned after means. I mean, I guess unless I'm wrong, I may be wrong about what pattern after means. You know what I mean? Because I think that's my idea of pattern after. I'm being facetious.
right. No, I had an opportunity to go through the Constitution that you shared with me, and I thank you for sharing that with me, because it was able to give me some more insight on the matriarchal communities. And like you said, it does not pattern behind the the six. I call it the Six Nations, but of course it's the Iroquois
Yes.
Confederacy, all the same. But it doesn't pattern after it. Maybe they meant it had some similarities of other parts. I don't know. I didn't get to read the entire thing. I read the sections that you shared with me. And so if we were going by that example, I would say, no, it's not a representation or, very similar at all. Because in their constitution, the women were the ones who made the decisions on, the leadership and the tribes leaders or rulers. And then it also went, the land and the lineage was behind the woman. And that's another thing that I was thinking as I was studying some of those things, when we talk about why did patriarchal communities develop and take over the matriarchal communities. And I really think that it's tied to the land, because we know that our colonizers, that's exactly what they come for. They came for the land. So if anything that incentivized them to take over leadership, to take away that control from the women, was because the women had control of the land, and the men, their greed, their need for war, and all those different things that we've seen through conquest, is what really incentivized them to develop patriarchal communities, because they wanted the control of the land. And that's what they're doing still to this day, finding ways to get control of the land, whether or not they have to do a coup to come in and take over the government, whether or not they assassinate leaders, whether or not they come up with these human rights allegations to come into a community, whether or not they come in through corporate companies and take over the land for the resources. It's always something to do with the land or the resources that are up under the land or above it.
Absolutely. And that's important to see that as a foundation, because the wealth is passed down to the mother line of the family.
Correct.
And that's drafted in the Constitution. That's drafted in. So that's so when I hear people, and it wasn't until I actually read it in 2019, because I was parroting the same thing. You know, you hear, and that we're working to get people out of parroting. Parroting because somebody says it where they haven't verified it for themselves. Where they hadn't read the Iroquois Constitution. They may read a statement. The Iroquois, the United States Constitution is patterned after Iroquois Constitution, but they have not read their, as I didn't. I did the same thing. I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty of, parroting. I'll raise my hand on that. You know, not anymore though. Not anymore.
Right. Well, that's why it's so important to share information and educate, each other, because it empowers us. The more we know, the more that we're exposed to, then the more we're able to create strategies. We're aware of, the tactics. We can see through, all the manipulation. And so it's important to share those things. So I know you share a lot of things with me. And like I told you, I don't get to see everything, but it's all the things that you share with me that I do get to look at are very informative, very educating, and very empowering. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely needed.
Yes.
So how do you see yourself in moving forward, and as you being the queen of nations Shira, and facilitating the restoration of the ancient matriarchal principles of governance?
Well,
How do you, as being a conduit for that for that facilitation?
Well, one thing I've done is make sure that I have other strong-minded, educated, and good-willed women around me, and brought them into the nation as well. So our Grand Chancellor is a woman. Our Government of Minister Affairs is a woman. One of the things I wanted to make sure is that I had a succession plan in place, because I am, we all are getting, I'm aging, and I want to make sure that if something were to happen to me, especially me putting in so much sacrifice and time into building the nation, that there is a succession plan in place for someone to carry on the legacy, to carry on the governance. And I wanted someone that people would respect, that people would also love and admire, of course. And so Dr. Ingrid Paris is our Grand Chancellor, and she's the one that God just told me that this was my Grand Chancellor. And when I told her that, she was like, she didn't say no, but she was just like, ooh. And I said, yeah, I know it's a heavy ask. I was like, but God told me that you are the right person, And to this day, it has proven that she definitely is equipped for this role. What we bring to each other, and our Minister of Government Affairs is Her Excellency Queen Esti Akoma Parasheen, who is also one of the highest ranking queens in the over in Ghana. And so bringing this trio together, the three minds, we kind of like each other's strengths and weaknesses. I have my strengths in organizing and strategy and vision and my vast network, but then each one of us has the different strengths that we bring that just make us stronger. And I see, when you ask me where do I see us taking the nation, I see us really developing a nation that is sustainable, one that has a succession plan in place, so that 25 to 50 years from now, the nation can still be standing on its own and independently. Also, I see us helping to liberate and lead our people up out of this oppressed lifestyle that we've grown accustomed to, with all the control, the surveillance, the governance, and restrictions on our freedom, taking away our rights. So having um, a plan, a sustainable plan, and I don't want to talk too much, but having strategies in place for our survival, for our sustainability. And I see us when the shit hits the fan, I see the nation of Shira still standing.
All right, right on. What value do you have? As far as education is concerned? I know you place a high premium on education, and that as being part of sustainability. Uh, what what uh, what does the nation of Shiva have in place as far as an educational model concerned?
So currently, our educational model is a universal educational model because our citizens are scattered sporadically throughout Africa, different parts of Africa, Central and South America, and also North America. And so right now, our system is being developed. As I told you in January, we began organizing and mobilizing. But now, what we're doing is developing and implementing the different strategies and systems that we have. So, like you asked about the education, our first system we're developing right now is our pre-K through 12 educational platform, which will provide free education for our youth from pre-K to 12th grade. This world-class curriculum is being developed by educators, including yourself, who we've invited to participate in creating this world-class curriculum for melanated youth that focuses on culture, but also technology, innovation, encourages entrepreneurship, and also leading into the workforce training and development as well. So providing access to trades through higher skills, being able to provide that as well. So we're going to do the pre-K through 12 first, but then from there and simultaneously what's being developed is the Shira Career Training Center, which focuses on vocational training as well as higher level training for other skills. So we'll continue to add and other trades, other skills, digital education, IT, um, agriculture, energy, green jobs, all those different, what we've designed is a system and an ecosystem that every component of our education, every component of each sector has workforce training and development in it. And so that each, as we're building the ecosystem, we are creating a skilled workforce. In addition to that, we're also creating our models on entrepreneurship, education, and enterprise. So as we're educating, we're also creating revenue along with that. And that's how we can create an ecosystem that supports itself.
All right. Well, as you said, I'm a part of and the part of the project. Definitely honor to assist, in any capacity that I can. I know I got my hands in a lot of cookie jars.
Yeah, I understand. And what I always tell people is I'm an expert at getting the experts. It's not that I know everything. What I do know is that there are people who know what I don't know. And so being able to have access to people like that, bringing them in and allowing them to lead, empowering them with the resources and that they need in order to lead is what I'm good at. And so I use my network, I use um, my community in that way to help empower others so that they're able to lead and, in the areas that they excel in.
All right. Looking at the restoration of the ancient matriarchal principles of governance. How would this be implemented into curriculum as far as teaching this? Of course, I'll be part of that. Um, what is your vision as far as curriculum development surrounding this very important topic?
Well, I think it starts from childhood. So it's something that we should teach, from pre-K up to 12th grade and even into our higher learning institutions. We should implement that into the curriculum so that they learn about Queen Nefertiti, Queen Sheba, the Six Nations, learning about the different constitutions that existed, the different treaties that existed. So I think it really comes from, like, you go back, it all goes back to the education. And then that teaches our culture, our heritage, our history. It shouldn't be a monolithic education or education built on Western design. It's going to be built on our culture, our principles, our morals, and, telling our history from our perspective. So we have control over that. We have control what we teach our children.
Absolutely. All right. Any other thoughts on the restoring ancient matriarchal? How else would you see yourself in being a conduit and restoring the ancient matriarchal principles of governance?
I really haven't decided on exactly how to implement some of those things, like whether it will go through lineage or the land. I haven't really, some of that information I just got in the last few days and the last week or
Mhm.
so. So I started studying it, and I really haven't had a chance to make a decision. And it would be probably something that we would make a decision with collectively and internally. So it's more of a democratic process to get, feedback from our community of what works or what we would like to see. Although we are a matriarchal monarch, our constitution is written with some checks and balances. So there's the constitution, then there's me, and then there's our grand chancellor, and then the ministers and the deputy ministers and the directors. I put that in place because I never wanted to be, well, what I say goes. I'm not looking to be a dictator.
Mm.
I'm just looking to be used as a vessel with a vision. So when it comes to making those types of decisions, we'll study it. We'll look at what's best for the nation.
Right. How would you deal with? We have a lot of our women, our people in general, have been we've been indoctrinated into this fictional not this fictional patriarchal subjugating paradigm. How do you see yourself addressing that? You have, particularly with our sisters, with who where and you and I talked about this a few days ago, and with this strong indoctrination of this he in this male image, and this and and it's so powerful in our people's psyche, and any thought of a female being a deity, or it's just blasphemous. You know, what do you how do you would you address that?
Wow, that's deep, and that's an interesting question because um, we've been programmed and brainwashed, and a lot of our history has been stolen. So we aren't familiar with who we are. We don't know how to identify ourselves. We label ourselves all these different names. We allow other people to label and give us names and go by those names. I think it first comes with understanding who we are. Many of our women have lost themselves, excuse me, and this new culture, if you want to call it that, when it comes to how they carry themselves, the disrespect that they carry themselves with. And so mm, I would definitely say it's going to come first from a huge campaign that is focused on self-respect, one that is also that focuses on our true identity, educating people of educating our people of who they are, where they come from, and the power they have. Once you learn who you are and you learn the power that you have and you learn how to use that power, then that's something that they can't take away from you. But right now, we have a class of people who just don't know who they are. They're lost, as the Oakham's lost in the sauce, and so it's really going to take a education and empowerment campaign from our community in media, media definitely, from the music to the arts to the fashion, using all those mediums because those are what are most impactful when you're trying to, reprogram, or I guess I don't know the exact word to call it, but when you're trying to, you know, change the mindset, you definitely have to come from all different angles. You can't
Yeah.
just, you gotta hit from all different angles. So, using media, using education, um, creating opportunities. Once you can create opportunities, because right now we don't even have the people's attention. People are so distracted, they don't care about knowing who they are. They're not concerned about history. They're not concerned really about politics. They're not concerned about the day-to-day things that are so critical and important to our survival and sustainability. Mostly are not on people, is not the thing that's mostly on people's mind. They're thinking about their bills, they're thinking about what they're going to eat for dinner, they're thinking about work all the rest of this week, they're thinking about their kids and their sports and recreation. They have everything else is far from their mind. So the first thing we have to do is get the people's attention to understand that we are at a critical crossroads right now, one that requires us to really stand in solidarity, to understand the times that we're in, to understand how politics work, to understand how international law works, to understand how matriarchal communities and societies existed and how they survived. All these things that we're talking about here this evening are the important things that determine whether or not we have this day to day next year or 5 to 10 years from now. So it's very important that we create these empowering campaigns through media, through education, in order to shift these mindsets, because the time is running out and the empire is ending. And where will we be, and what will we be doing, and how will we continue to thrive at that time?
And one thing that you and I have talked about is, and I do agree with all those points.
Thank you.
Uh, that one thing we talked about is networking. This is how you and I, someone connected us 2.5 years ago, and you have an extensive outreach and a vast, network.
Ashe.
So I is connecting with people who with like minds, and as you and I have been connected, and we've been for past 2.5 years communicating.
Yes, we've been locked in.
Yes.
You know, there's others who are doing similar things, and I wish them the best. Unfortunately, everybody, we want to work with everybody, and I'm always open to collaboration. And that's why I say INOSA gives us the platform to be able to collaborate with one another. We don't necessarily have to agree on everything, but we can always find a medium to work together. And so, although the person who introduced us, isn't the person who's still connected, to
Yes.
me,
Yeah, I
it's still,
know.
I wish them still the best because we're all working towards the same cause and the common goal, and that is to liberate our people and to live free, to live well, to live together, and to live in peace.
Absolutely. And that, yeah, and I was using this Moorish Monday platform to do just that, to bring in bring in different people like yourself who are active in the community, have outreach, and so I'm just using it. I want to thank Brother Hank for offering this platform to me almost 2 years ago.
Hey,
Yeah, I this is way in which I'm using this platform.
and thank you to the brother that introduced us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, definitely, definitely, great, great, great. So,
I think it's important to mention that before there were kings, there were queens, and that the kings were birthed from us.
absolutely,
So, it just makes sense that that's where it would come from.
but there's a book called "When God Was a Woman" by Merlin Stone. She definitely very good book. An
Well, I look
anthropological
forward
research.
to reading it.
Yes. So once again the titles, when for those who are interested in getting the book, is called "When God Was a Woman" by Rolling Stone. Something I highly book that I've known about for 20 and 30 years, I think. Yeah,
Mm.
32 years I've known about that book. Yeah, so what are your plans? What do you see the nation of Shiva in 5 years?
Well, right now, we are starting with the foundational system. So putting the pre-K through 12 in place, the Shira Career Training Center. Also, we have several gardens planned, different urban farms here in Georgia, also Mississippi. So working on the design of those. So I see in the next 5 years, the nation of Shira having our educational systems established and having helped hundreds of youth to come through our educational platform, as well as helping hundreds of young adults upskill and start their own businesses and make more money from having higher wage skills. Also, I see us having different embassies across the continent of Africa, here in North America, Central America, and South America. I see us a member of INOSA working with our organization as our own melanated United Nations, collaborating with many others and sharing resources, sharing knowledge, sharing um, different programs with one another. I know one of the organizations that we partner with currently is the Black Achievement Fund. And so what we've set up with them is for our members to be able to take part in their member activities, and their members take part in our member activities and events. And we're also working with them to develop the community garden and urban farm there in Toonsboro, Georgia, on the 6 acres that they have allocated. We have 42.5 acres of family land down in Bay Springs, Mississippi, that we look to develop. And so we want to develop self-sustaining communities across the continent, across here in North America, across Central and South America, and just, living free, living well, living together, and living in peace.
Definitely, as part of addressing the continuation of European conquests of our lands.
Absolutely.
Any colonization of our lands is, definitely it's going to take a united effort.
I'd also like to see us taking part in a key player in fighting for restoration and reparations. Restore the land, restore, of course, we know that they're not going to just give it to us,
Mhm.
but it's going to come a time where we have to be strategic in our demands and to make sure that we get what we ask for. And I think that a lot of times we don't really exercise the power that we have in the most strategic ways. Sometimes we're emotional in how we ask for things. And so we go out to the streets and we protest and we march. And that has been impactful in the past, but we're now in a new area and in a new era, and it's gonna require uh different things. So it's gonna require economic impact. It's gonna require boycotts and financial way. It's gonna require a number of other strategic activities in order to really start saying, taking us serious. Because right now they don't the world doesn't take us too serious because we don't stand on business when it comes to our human rights. We don't stand on business when it comes to our freedom and our civil rights. We don't stand on business when they hanging someone from the trees. We don't stand on business. So it's very important that in this time we not only stand in business, but we stand in solidarity, and that we do not allow the same tactics that have been used in the past to continue to divide and conquer us. Yes, we're going to have some infighting. There's some things we haven't necessarily resolved internally, but this is not the time to figure those things out necessarily. We will have plenty of time to resolve those issues, but right now we really need the Black unity, which equals Black power.
Definitely got to elevate the knowledge. So we looked at, you talked about things that were done in the past, and only way those we take a different approach, and you alluded to, is that they have to be an increase in knowledge. And I
Absolutely.
think that is one of the weaknesses in our communities. You know that and it's looking at the ancient matriarchal principles, history, international law,
Mm-hmm.
principle of nationality, and constitutional self-governance. And have not been taught in our communities.
No, they haven't. But I think that now we are at a opportunity. We have the opportunity to really attract certain people that are just like looking for something. Because people right now, I feel like, are looking for solutions. They're looking for answers. Right now, that they can't trust. They are finally starting to see that they can't trust the U.S. government. They can't trust the Democrats. They can't trust the Republicans. The schools aren't really educating our youth or preparing them for real life. It's just preparing them for the school to prison pipeline. And I
Yeah,
think people are really starting to wake up. And so as they're waking up, they're looking for what is the alternative. And unfortunately, there aren't many organizations that just have the alternative solutions in place. And that's what I'm hoping that the Nation of Shira can be for our global Black community that is looking for alternatives to putting their children in the public school, looking for alternatives to going to college and being in debt hundreds of thousands of dollars, looking for alternatives to the prescription meals that are going on in our doctor's offices, looking for alternatives to the medicine, the foods that are tainted with the Monsanto seeds and all the other things that are happening behind the scenes that they're doing to our foods. So as they continue to do these things, the Nation of Shira is developing relationships and allies with people who have millions of acres of land that has not been tainted or poisoned and has good soil, making relationships with those who have the skill to do the workforce training and development and creating entrepreneurs so we can develop our own processing and manufacturing, creating our own essential products and services, and serving ourselves, and just really taking ourselves out of the equation that they have us in. So that's the aim and goal for the nation of Shira, is that we will create a self-sustaining ecosystem and community that transcends borders and languages.
All right, good, good. That's important, and to lay that out. You have a good vision, and a lot of work needs to be done. But
And speaking of, because we know that your hands are full, but maybe somebody is listening, and maybe someone is feeling the
yes,
spirit of Shira. That's what we had. The spirit of Shira is the spirit of liberation, the spirit of freedom. So if this message is hitting you, and the things that I'm saying, which are all very true, straight from my heart, no script, if these things resonate within you, we are looking for leaders. We're looking for strong leaders, dedicated leaders, leaders with vision, leaders who are ready to liberate our people, whether you are an educator, whether you are a farmer, whether you are someone who has the skill and you want to teach and train others a skill. If you are someone in healthcare, holistic healthcare, licensed healthcare professionals, this is how we create our ecosystem and be able to create our universal healthcare model that we've designed. So definitely we want to connect with you. We want to hear from you. You can learn more about our nation at the nation. It's not the nation. It's nationofshira.org. Nationofshira.org. And Shira is spelled CHERUT. That's nationofshira.org. And our 5 foundational pillars are spirituality, which we believe in freedom of spirituality. You can practice any religion, whatever you do, that is your own personal choice and decision. We will not judge you on that. What we will judge you on is what you do for your community, how you treat your community, the respect that we have for one another, the love and peace that we live amongst each other. So it's freedom of spirituality. We're self-determined, self-care, sustainability, and solidarity. Those are our 5 foundational pillars. And I've already told you our vision: to live free, to live well, to live together, and to live in peace. So that is what we're building. And we invite you to build this community with us.
so you gave them your website.
Yes.
So your contact information is in the website.
Yes, all of our information is on the
Right.
website. You can find additional information there about our initiatives, the assets, and the platforms that we're currently developing. We're truly excited because for our career training center, we are opening up the Trinity Bay Vocational Institute of Atlanta as the franchise of the Trinity Bay Vocational Institute campuses in Louisiana and Houston. So we'll be training our youth and young adults in electrical, plumbing, construction, green jobs, and automotive, and a number of other skills that we're going to add as we complete our accreditation and go through that process. So that school is going to open up a physical location here in the Metro Atlanta area. And we'll also have our online platform that will offer a number of other skills and trades that you can learn.
Are you going to be out of town? You mentioned to me you're going to be out of town on October 11th. You know, I'm heading that way. I'll be that way. 40.
Well, I have good news. I shall be here. It looks like I'm going to be here. We decided today.
All right, good.
In another meeting that we're going to push that trip back just a little bit to give us more time for the planning and things that we have to do to prepare for that trip.
All right, so I'll have Quasi contact you so you can be on. He can have you put down as a speaker.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's on October 11th. Yeah, because LaGrange, Georgia. So you have the flyer. If I need to send the flyer again, but I'll Quasi, if you're listening, I'll text Quasi when we get done to let you know, to let him know that you will be available, and then put you down as a speaker.
Okay, great.
Yeah, yes. So that's good. So I'll see you on I'll be coming in town on the 10th. On the
Okay.
10th. So and then I'll see you on the 11th then.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
plan.
All right, great, great, great. I'm glad.
Anything changes, I'll let you know. But yes, today we had decided that we were going to push that trip back just a short while. There's a lot going on the ground
Mhm.
there where we're going. And so we want to make sure that everyone is prepared and ready to accept us. And we want to hit the ground running when we get there.
Yeah, what I'm speaking now is the Tri-Ujima's first annual Finding Festival 2025 Community Confidence event. Quasi's been on platform about 4 or 5 times over. He'll be on November 20th. November 20th. No, October 20th. Quasi will be back on October 20th to do part 2 of his presentation. Yeah, his organization Tribe Gym is hosting the Finding Festival of 2025 in LaGrange, Georgia, at the community garden. At their community garden. So
Nice.
I will be King Al Bay. King
The
Al
day
Bay will be there too. Let's say it again.
I say he'll be here the day before my birthday. Then you said October 20th. My birthday is October 21st.
He'll be live on this platform on October 20th. Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Yours is on the 19th. You said
No, my
your
birthday
birthday
is on the 21st.
on the 21st. Oh, you said day before. Yeah. Yes,
Uh-huh.
21st. Absolutely. All right. Good. 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 Yeah. So King Al Bay will be one of the guest speakers at the event, and so now you will as well. So I will definitely text Quasi as soon as we get done.
Okay.
So that's great. Um, I think the event is from 1 to 7. It's all day event. It's outdoors, right at the community garden. They're gonna have They're gonna have moon bounce and the horses and various speakers and entertainers and vendors. You know, it's, I'm looking forward to
Sounds
it.
like a lot of fun.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Nice. Well,
And it's
listen,
also being broadcast live on a B. April Ross. April Ross of BTV.
no, I don't.
Yeah, she's gonna be broadcasting
No,
it
I don't.
live on her channel. Yeah, April Ross of BTV.
Okay.
Yes, and that's like I
Okay.
said,
Well, if
she's
you
in
have
the
any listeners listening from Metro Atlanta, this Saturday we're having a Taste of East Memorial Drive in DeKalb County on Memorial Drive in Stone Mountain, Georgia. It's a free community event, and there'll be a number of different vendors there, food vendors, marketplace vendors, kid zone, and also a resource vendor will be there providing resource vendors will be there providing resources for the community. So if you are in the Metro Atlanta area, please feel free to stop by on Saturday. We'll be out there from 12 to 7 p.m.
Hear that, y'all? And those that out in the Atlantic metro area, absolutely. I think Quasi won't. And his hands been tied full because he's getting ready for this his upcoming. That's in what? That's in three. That's in 2.5 weeks. His event is in October 11th. Yeah, 2.5 weeks. Right? Yes. Yeah, definitely. Well, is there anything else that you want to add? We have some more time here, but if what does ISO stands for? And it was that ENISO is it
I know so.
I know so. Indigenous Nations of Sovereign Alliance.
Yep, I know. So Indigenous Nations of Sovereignty Alliance, and working with Ambassador Davisha L. Johnson. Also, Empress Mayashola Matthews was one of the founding partners who helped us to establish INOSA. What we're looking to do,
No,
like I said,
sorry.
is bring in various nations, kingdoms, tribes, clans, and come together as our own United Nations.
I know so. Business sovereignty.
if you look at the strength and the power that BRICS has been able to build, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South
China,
Africa,
South Africa, yes.
through their alliance, we can do similar things if we're all working together. And so we want to make sure that we are aligning ourselves, that we are being strategic, intentional, in the way that we move forward from here on out, because the shift is here. The shift is taking place. But each action that we take, each action that we don't take, is critical and could shift it one way or the other. So it's very important that we be working together, because we know that there's a lot of voices and people who are in power, that don't make the best decisions for us. And so we have to make sure that we are making those decisions and that we put our leaders out there to represent us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So you have anything else?
Sorry if I'm
Yeah.
not very talkative this evening. I just had the worst headache.
I,
So
I
I
know,
just,
I know. That's why we're gonna, yeah. We had talked earlier, so
but
we definitely going
no,
to
I definitely just wanted to be here. I didn't want to, not be here, because this is something that's so important.
mhm.
And I have to start speaking out more to make sure that the right people are getting the messaging, to make sure that we're connecting, to get the word out about what we're doing. We can't work in silos anymore. We have
Yeah.
to be able to come together and collaborate. And so I wanted to make sure that I was here, and I wanted to give you my best. But I'm so sorry if I'm not as talkative as I normally am.
No, we're gonna end. We're gonna end in about the 2 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. So we're gonna give
There's no rush.
yeah.
I could tell you like
No, because
wait a minute,
we
say
spoke
more.
earlier. I
Okay.
was definitely aware of that. We spoke this afternoon, and
Yes.
definitely where. So just give your closing, and then once we will definitely will. I thank the audience for tuning in.
Yes, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your time and your attention. Hopefully, I hope this information was helpful and informative. I hope it was inspiring, and empowering, and I hope it moves you, because we are, as I said earlier, at a critical crossroads where our inaction and our actions could all shift this thing one way or the other. And we want to shift it in our favor, because the time is now. We've spent over 400 plus years fighting for our freedoms, fighting for our civil rights. And our ancestors have shed so much blood, sweat, and tears to get us where we are now. Some people say, well, why didn't they fight back? Oh, they fought back. And if
Right
it
now,
wasn't
fuck
for
that.
them fighting back, we wouldn't be where we are now. So when you say we are not our ancestors, oh, we are our ancestors. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams. And so we must stand up. We must stand together. We must stand in solidarity right now together, making decisions that are strategic and intentional for our prosperity, for us to thrive, for us to sustain ourselves, because we are entering a new day, a new era, and one where we will be making the decisions. We will have the power, the influence, and we want to make sure that we exercise it appropriately, because we are the protectors of this planet. So we want to make sure that we are making decisions that are good for the planet, good for the people. And we want to make sure also that we put an end to the wickedness, and making sure that they know that that's unacceptable and we're not going to stand for it anymore, regardless of where it's at. So if we're going to do that, it's going to definitely take the unity, collaboration, sharing of resources, sharing information, educating and empowering each other, and definitely a shift in mindset. So if you know someone that needs to hear this, make sure you share it with them. And like the good brother said, like, comment, and subscribe, so that you can
Yes.
continue to get great interviews, and hear from leaders who are on the ground putting in the work, not the ones that you see on your YouTube every day, not the ones you see on
Yeah.
TikTok every day, pandering and asking for, money or things like that. We're talking about people who are really doing the work, and there's so many more people like myself who are really on the ground, boots on the ground, and we don't want all the fame and attention. We just want to make an impact. We just really want to see our people free and liberated. So I thank you for this platform. If there's anyone else that would like to have me on for an interview, I'm looking to get the word out because we do need more help. We need all hands on deck in order to build these systems and to create a nation that can sustain in these times. So thank you again. I can't say that enough. And Shira Ve Shalom, freedom and peace.
Once again, before you leave, give out your website.
Our website is nationofshira.org, nationofshira.org. We are a private 508c1a organization. So you can learn more at nationofshira.org. We're also on YouTube at Nation of Shira. We're on TikTok, Nation of Shira, all over Nation of Shira. And you can also follow me at Shantae Lene as it is on the screen. That's how my name is spelled, Shantae Lene. So you can follow me. I'm on LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And look forward to connecting with you and building with you.
All right. So I'll text Quasi as soon as we get off. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Shira Ve Shalom, freedom and peace.
Freedom and peace. Peace, everyone. If you're interested, so my website, real quick. If you're interested in getting my books, my website's been strolling across the stream for the past hour and 10 minutes. And so until next Monday.
Definitely get the book. This brother is very knowledgeable, so definitely get his books and follow him as well. Thank you so much, Brother Abdullah. Peace and blessings.
Peace. I'll next week I'll have Sister Queen Nana Mormack, Sister Nina Mormack out of California.
Nina Womack.
Yes, I have her next week. She's next. Okay. Yeah, she's on next week. Yes, she'll be my.
Nina, will tell her I said hi and
I sure will. Yes, yeah, I met her through WhatsApp 2 years ago. It's through WhatsApp, and so she will be on next week.
Beautiful. So, well, thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. All right, peace, everyone. Until next week.